There is one zodiac sign people always think they can manage, handle, or even control, until they try. At first, Cancer looks soft, emotional, kind, a little quiet. The one who remembers everyone's birthday, checks if you've eaten, cries during movies, and offers you a place to stay when the world throws you out. But what people don't understand is this. Behind that soft heart is an ocean. And nobody controls the ocean. Tonight, we're diving into 12 powerful reasons why nobody can truly control a Cancer. If you've ever loved a Cancer, heard a Cancer, or are a Cancer yourself, you're about to see why this sign is far more unshakable than people realize. Before we begin, tell me something in the comments. Where are you watching from, and are you a Cancer or do you love one? I read your comments, and I love seeing where my zodiac family is in the world. And if you connect with this kind of deep, emotional astrology, hit subscribe and turn on the notifications. There's so much more I want to share with you. Now, let's start with the first reason. People often confuse emotional with weak. That's their first mistake. Cancer doesn't just feel emotions. They live inside them. Imagine an ocean that can be calm on the surface but holds storms, currents, and hidden life underneath. That's Cancer. You cannot control a Cancer because their emotions are not something you can switch off, manipulate, or talk over. You might try to tell them, you're overreacting, or, it's not that deep. But for Cancer, it is that deep. Think about the Cancer who always sensed when something was wrong in the family. They were the child who went quiet when their parents fought, the friend who texted you at 2 a.m. because they had a feeling you weren't okay. Those deep waters inside them are constantly reading the world. You can pressure them, gaslight them, blame their feelings, but all you're doing is proving that you don't understand their depth. And nobody can control what they don't understand. Cancers are ruled by the moon, and the moon is the guardian of the unseen. You might think you're hiding your true intentions. You might smile, say all the right words, give little compliments, but Cancer is feeling the energy behind your words. They notice how your tone changes when you talk to certain people. They see how your eyes look away when you lie. They feel the tiny shifts in your mood that you assume no one catches. Maybe you've met a Cancer who suddenly became distant, and you had no idea why. You didn't say anything wrong. You didn't start a fight. But they felt it, the shift, the disrespect, the hidden agenda. You cannot control a Cancer because you cannot hide from their intuition. They may not always call you out. Sometimes, they just quietly adjust how much access you have to their heart. By the time you realize they saw through you, they've already moved their energy away. People love Cancer loyalty, until they reach its limit. Cancer will stand by your side when you're broke, lost, confused, heartbroken. They will defend you in rooms where your name is being dragged. They will cook for you, care for you, pray for you, and hope the world is gentle with you. But here's what many don't understand. Cancer's loyalty is not blind. It is earned, and it can be revoked. The moment they realize you are using them. The moment they realize you only come to them when you need emotional repair. The moment they see that your love disappears when they have needs too. Something inside them changes. They may still be kind. They may still answer your messages. But that deep, unconditional loyalty, that's gone. Quietly. Finally. Permanently. You cannot control a Cancer by taking advantage of their heart. Because their heart is keeping score in ways you don't see. Cancer records how you made them feel. They remember the day you walked away when they needed you. They remember the joke you made that cut just a little too deep. They remember how they cried alone after pretending they were fine around you. And because they remember, they adjust. You can't yell at a Cancer, disrespect them, abandon them, then come back later and expect the same version of them. That version doesn't exist anymore. They may still know you. They may still care. But now there's a distance. A line. A boundary. You cannot control a Cancer because their heart learns. And once it learns, it never goes back to the way it was before. People think if they push hard enough, they can break a Cancer. They might nag them, guilt-trip them, emotionally blackmail them. If you loved me, you'd do this. You're too sensitive, just do what I say. You're making a big deal out of nothing. But the more you push, the more Cancer's famous shell starts to harden. Suddenly, the person who listened to you for hours doesn't pick up your calls. The one who used to share their feelings with you becomes silent. The door that was once always open, now only opens on their terms. Cancer's shell is not just defensiveness. It's self-respect. You can make them cry. You can make them doubt themselves for a while. But if you keep pushing, something clicks. I don't deserve this. I don't have to take this. And once that realization hits, your control disappears. Cancer doesn't always scream when they're hurt. Sometimes they go quiet. That quietness scares people, because behind it is a storm gathering strength. When someone tries to control their time, their friendships, their dreams, you'll see another side of Cancer. The side that says, no. This is my life too. No. You don't get to decide that for me. No. I'm done shrinking so you feel big. They might cry before they confront you. They might shake while they speak. Their voice might crack. But do not mistake that for weakness. Cancer will fight for their family, their love, their inner child, and their peace with a force that shocks people. You cannot control someone who would rather lose you than lose themselves. If you're still here, I know this is resonating with you. If you're a Cancer, I want you to type in the comments. I cannot be controlled. I choose myself. And tell me where in the world you're watching from. I love seeing the Cancer energy across different countries. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the deep dive videos I'm making for every sign. Alright, let's keep going. Cancer is ruled by the moon, and the moon changes phases. So does their mood. People try to control Cancers by shaming their emotional changes. You were fine yesterday, what happened? You're so moody. You're too dramatic. But Cancer's moods are like tides. They're not random. They respond to energy, to environment, to what they've been absorbing from other people. When Cancer learns to honor their moods instead of apologizing for them, they become even more uncontrollable. They say, I need space today. They say, I'm not okay right now, and that's allowed. They stop forcing themselves to perform happiness for people who don't deserve their light. You can't control a Cancer who has stopped fighting their own feelings. Their mood is not your possession. It is their inner weather, and only they decide how to move through it. Here's something people never expect from Cancer. They think Cancer will always come back. They think Cancer will always forgive. They think Cancer will always be there. Until one day, they're not. Cancer doesn't always end things with explosions. Sometimes they end things with silence. The messages slow down. The calls stop. The invitations disappear. There is no big speech. No long goodbye. Just distance. You might check their social media and see them smiling, healing, rebuilding. And you realize something painful. They learned how to live without you. You cannot control a Cancer because when they finally decide to let go, they do it completely. And they rarely look back. Cancer is the sign of home, family, roots. People think, if I control their home, I control them. If I control the relationship, the living situation, the finances, the family dynamics, maybe I can keep them. But home, for Cancer, is sacred. They will bend over backwards to create peace, cooking, cleaning, taking care of everyone, trying to avoid fights. But if the home becomes a cage instead of a sanctuary, something inside them breaks. They start dreaming of leaving. They start saving in secret. They start building an exit in their mind before you ever see it on their face. Cancer doesn't want to leave the place they call home. But if they have to choose between a house they live in and a soul that's dying inside it, they will choose themselves. You cannot control a Cancer by trapping them. They were born to protect home energy, not be imprisoned by it. People mock Cancer for being sensitive. They say, "You cry too much, you're too soft, you take everything personally." But sensitivity is a radar. It tells them when something is off. It tells them when someone is lying. It tells them when a situation is dangerous. You can't control a Cancer that understands their sensitivity is not a flaw, but a gift. Because when they honor that gift, they say things like, "I don't feel safe here. I don't like your energy. I don't have a good feeling about this." And they leave. While others ignore the warning signs, Cancer's sensitivity pulls them away from manipulation earlier than you expect. You cannot control someone whose entire nervous system is trained to detect emotional danger. Cancer's ruler, the moon, represents inner truth, subconscious knowing, spiritual rhythm. This means Cancer often feels pulled towards certain decisions that don't make logical sense to others. Leaving a job, because it doesn't feel right. Moving to a new city, because they feel called. Ending a relationship, because their soul feels tired. People try to talk them out of it. "You're overthinking. You're too emotional. You're making a mistake." But when Cancer is in tune with their lunar nature, they follow their inner pull. Not your pressure. You cannot control a Cancer who has chosen to listen to their intuition over other people's opinions. Their path may not make sense to you. It doesn't have to. Here is the final, and maybe the most powerful reason. Cancer has known pain. Early in life, many Cancers experience emotional wounds, feeling misunderstood, feeling taken for granted, feeling like they have to be strong for everyone else. At first, this breaks them. They cry. They hide. They question their worth. But in that darkness, something grows. They learn who shows up and who disappears. They learn how to comfort themselves when nobody else does. They learn that their tears never made them weak. Their survival did. By the time a Cancer reaches a certain point in life, their pain has become wisdom. Their scars have become armor. Their heartbreak has become a filter that keeps out people who don't deserve them. You cannot control a Cancer who has turned their suffering into strength. You're not dealing with a fragile heart. You're dealing with someone who rebuilt themselves piece by piece. If you are a Cancer watching this right now, I want you to hear this. You are not too much. You are not too emotional. You are not weak for caring deeply. Your emotions are your depth. Your intuition is your shield. Your love is your power. And your boundaries are your freedom. Nobody can control you, unless you hand them the keys to your own heart. And today, I hope you take those keys back. If this video spoke to your soul, tell me in the comments. Are you Cancer, or do you love a Cancer? Where in the world are you watching from? I read your stories. I feel your energy. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel for more deep, cinematic zodiac stories, not just about Cancer, but about every sign and every soul who's trying to understand themselves on a deeper level. Share this with a Cancer who needs to remember their power. Thank you for spending this time with me. Until the next video, protect your heart, trust your intuition, and never forget. You were never meant to be controlled.